You're listening to the Options Insider Radio Network, the home of the Options Podcast. For more quality options programs, visit theoptionsinsider.com or search for Options Insider Radio Network in your podcast provider of choice. Listeners can also access all of our programming through our mobile app available in the iTunes and Google Play stores. Select programs are also available via live stream at mixlr.com/options-insider. That's mixlr.com/options-insider. Don't forget to follow along with your favorite programs and submit your own questions for the hosts at twitter.com/options, stocktwits.com/options, facebook.com/theoptionsinsider, or via questions at theoptionsinsider.com.
Welcome to the Hot Options Report, your premier source for insight into the fast-moving options market. Each day, we'll track down the products that are dominating the options chains and impacting your trading account. From Apple to VIX and everything in between, if it's lighting up the options tape, then you'll find it on the Hot Options Report. If you're listening to this show, chances are you're pretty serious about options trading. So let me put something on your radar. Public. It's the most cost-effective way to trade options. That's because Public is the only platform that gives you rebates on your options trades. They also have some of the industry's lowest index options fees. Whether you're placing single leg or complex multi-leg trades, every dollar counts. Check out public.com/optionsbrief and discover the most cost-effective way to trade options. Paid for by Public Investing. Full disclosures in podcast description. And now, get ready to scan the tape for the most explosive options activity on the street. It's time for the Hot Options Report.
All right, everybody, let's get down to business for the Hot Options Report for Wednesday, July 16th. Listeners, let's kick it off in the land of vol, as we like to do. Was today a hot day for VIX? Well, not quite as hot as yesterday. As you recall, yesterday we were over 1 million contracts. Not quite getting there today, but we're sniffing it. We're about 3/4 of the way there, 757,000 contracts to be precise. Pretty much right in line with the ADV, which is 768. Interesting to see that little dust up between Powell and Trump today. Didn't lead to a 1 million contract day again, but we'll see. As we keep on rolling out here, what is the most active, what is the hot option out there in VIX land today, listeners? Well, you might guess it's a 17 put again. That means you've been listening to the show, you've been paying attention, but actually today, no, it was the SEP 80s going up 49, almost 50,000 times today. So a wild strike. Looks like it was actually part of maybe a bit of a roll of the AUG par, so AUG 100, a SEP 80 roll/calendar going up for 18 cents /diagonal really out there. That went up 31,000 times, obviously did more total on the day. So there you go, SEP 80s. Did you have that in your bingo card? Somebody did today in VIX land. Moving on to SPY, nearly 10 million contracts, 9.65 million contracts on the tape in SPY today, listeners. That's a banger when you see that the ADV is only 8.3 million, so obviously exceeding that. Again, that little bit of whipsaw action intraday. Trump is firing Powell. Oh, wait, he's not. All of that obviously contributing to a nearly 10 million contract day. If you're wondering what was the big dog out there in SPY today, listeners, you know it's 0 day. The question is what strike? The answer is 613,000 of the 624 calls. And you know what? If you bought those and you paid less than 20 cents, you're happy because SPY went out 64.20 out there today, listeners. If you paid more than that, if you're trading intraday, you probably did, then maybe not quite so happy of a camper out there. And if you sold those, you were gritting your teeth all the way to the end there, listeners. Let's keep on rolling. Was it a spicy day in the S? Well, it's kind of hard to have a spicy day in SPY and not in the S. That would be weird, and that's pretty much what we saw out here in the S. 4.09 million contracts on the tape. The ADV, 3.66 million. So a decently spicy day, all things considered out here for the hot options report. Listeners, slightly over our ADV. The hot option in the S today, same deal. You know it's going to be 0 day. The question is what strike? And the answer is 163,000 of the 6265 calls. And once again, if you were a buyer of those and you held them till the end of the day, unfortunately not your day. SPX going out 6263.70, so just shy of that 6265 strike. Better luck next time. That's what 0 day is all about. You rinse and repeat the next day, listeners. Let's keep rolling out to small caps IWM. A hot day out there as well. 1.58 million contracts on the tape. The ADV 1.28, so fully 300,000 more contracts hitting the tape in small caps today. The big dog in IWM, you know it, you love it, probably because it's not a 0 day contract. It's going out to August, and it's puts yet again. We've been seeing this for a while. 215 puts, now 210 puts today, going up 118,000 contracts. That is your hot option in small caps today. By the way, if you're wondering, we went out right at the 221 strike in IWM today. And bringing up the rear on our list, if not quite in volume, is the Qs. Spicy day in the Qs as well. 4.61 million contracts on the tape. The ADV 3.64, so nearly a million contracts more hitting the tape in the Qs today. That definitely qualifies as spicy. What was the hot option out here in the Qs today? It was 337,000 of the 556 calls. And again, if you bought those, held them all the way to the end of the day, and you paid less than $1.29 for them, you're a happy camper because Qs went out 557.29 out there today, listeners. All right, to the land of single names we go. I know that's what brings a lot of you to the dance out there. Was it a hot day? The answer is yes. We're actually going to expand it a little bit today, listen. We're going to go beyond our top 10. We're actually going to do a top 11 because number 11 is a much anticipated name that a lot of our folks in our pro chat were talking about. We were just talking about it on the network on Monday on our crypto rundown. What are we talking about? This is Circle. It's actually part of one of our questions of the week right now. Where do you like to harvest your premium? Because Circle had some, I think, to put it mildly, very juicy puts out there that a lot of people were eager, including a lot of people in our pro chat, were eager to hit the bids on and working out pretty well. Circle popping hard today. Already a very lofty valuation, popping nearly 40 handles today, 37.87, closing at 233.20, up nearly 20%, about 19.5%. So yeah, all those puts you sold looking pretty good right now. Circle putting up 467,000 contracts, coming in right outside our top 10 at number 11. Consider that a bonus just for our pro folks hanging out in the live chat or listening after the fact. All right, our actual top 10. Number 10 is the Monster, aka MicroStrategy. Looking a little bit more monstrous today. 455.90 is where it went out, up about 1360 on the day. 491,000 contracts on the tape in the Monster. By the way, the hot option in the Monster today, 24,000 of the 465 calls expiring this Friday. So it's got a ways to go to hit that, but then again, anything can happen. By the way, I neglected to tell you the hot option in Circle. It was about 23,000 of the 250 calls expiring this Friday. That sounds insane on the surface of it, but we moved nearly 40 handles just today. So I ask you, is anything really insane at the end of the day, listeners? All right, number 9 is one of our old stalwarts. It's Amazon, 534,000 contracts on the tape today. The big dog, 56,000 of the 225 calls expiring this Friday. They've got a little work to do to get there. They sold off a little over $3 today, closing at 223.19. So a couple of handles more to get to that 225 strike by the end of the week. Number 8, it's Palantir, another frequent offender, 584,000 contracts on the tape. The hot option in Palantir today, the 150 calls going up 43,000 times, expiring at the end of this week. Those are looking decent right now. The stock closed a little bit shy of 151 today, gaining another about 2 1/3 points out there today. Number 7, not quite a newcomer, but a name we don't get to talk about a lot, which is always fun when we're talking about our top 10 out there. This is Open Door Technologies, ticker symbol OPEN. putting up 678,000 contracts today. That's wild in and of itself. It's even more wild, listeners, when you hear that this is a $1.50 stock rallying nearly 50 cents today. So this thing had a hell of a move. But that is their 52-week high from a vol perspective. They did over 20 times their ADV today. So lighting it up out there, 678,000 contracts. I'm going to go out on a limb and guess that it was probably some call paper that was dominating the tape out there. That's usually the case in these types of names with these types of moves. And that was the case, listeners. 79, almost 80,000 of the 1/2 calls expiring on Friday. We went out right at that strike today. So if we hang out here for the next couple of days, those calls are going out worthless. But given how much this thing is moving, probably not going to be sitting here towards the end of the week, but we shall see. Moving on to number 6, it's our old pal Robinhood, 736,000 contracts on the tape. What was the hot option in Robinhood today? 59, almost 60,000 of the 105 calls expiring on Friday. We're pretty close to that now. Robinhood breaking the par strike, 103.25 today, up about 3 3/4 on the day. So a nice move for them and within spitting distance of that 105 strike. Now to our top 5 listeners. Number 5 is the Fruit Company, aka Apple, 836,000 contracts on the tape. The big dog, the hot option out there in Apple today, 84,000 of the 212.5 calls, again expiring this Friday. Seems to be a theme to a lot of the trades we're talking about today, listeners. Apple going out today a little bit north of the 210 strike, so 212.5, you got a little ways to go out there. Number 4, another newcomer to our top 10. We have talked about it before, but not really in the top 10, at least not quite in some time. The last time we really talked about it was on our Options Oddities program that we do for our pro members, where we profile a lot of interesting and unusual activity, and that's where this name was spotlighted in the past. This one has been a hit with the meme crowd in the past. What are we talking about? It's Rigetti Computing. If you've been in on all this wild quantum madness that's been going on out here with a lot of these names, Rigetti very much fitting into that bill. Rigetti closing today $16.56, up nearly $4 or almost 30%. So just a wild day for Rigetti. Again, I'm going to guess the hot option out here was a call, and that was the case. By the way, 855,000 contracts on the tape for Rigetti today. And the hot option in Rigetti today, the 15 calls expiring on Friday. Those are looking pretty good. Obviously about $1.50 in the money right now. 70, almost 71,000 of those changing hands today. Looks like the average price was around 78, 79 cents. So you're looking at 2x your money. If that's you, congrats to you. Number 3, back to Chipland. It's AMD, 964,000 contracts on the tape. The hot option in AMD today, 67,000 of the July 160s. And that's pretty much where we went out today, almost exactly at the 160 strike, 160.08 to be precise, up about $4.50, nearly 3% on the day. So all this good news, selling chips to China has been good for AMD. Rallying, let's see if these 160s can hold through the end of the week or if we retreat off this strike. Number 2, is it Tesla or is it NVDA, listeners? Yep, it's Tesla. 2.12 million contracts. A pretty active day for Tesla out there. The hot option in Tesla today, 153,000 of the 320 calls expiring on Friday. We went out 321 2/3, so those are looking pretty good right now. Now, they had an average price of nearly $4.50, so in that case, a bit of an ouchie right now. I'll have to move a little bit to make up for that. If we go out right here, obviously it's only gonna be worth about $1.70. So interesting to see what happens in Tesla, but the big dog, you know it, you love it, maybe you hate it. Either way, it wears the crown yet again today in the options market. Of course, we're talking about our old pal NVIDIA, 2.45 million contracts on the tape, roughly half of what it put up yesterday on the heels of that Chinese news. Again, though, a pretty active day. Good enough for the number 1 spot. What was the hot option in NVIDIA today? 195,000 of the 172.5 calls, again expiring this Friday. I think that was the case for all of our top 10 names out here. Everything expiring. Yeah, everything we profiled today in the top 10, or top 11 really, all expiring this Friday. So very near dated paper. NVDA, the hot option, 195,000 of the 172 halves, again expiring this Friday. We went out pretty close to that today, 171 and about a third, up about 2/3 of a point. So within spitting distance of that 172 half strike. And that's going to do it for your hot option report for Wednesday, July 16th. Some wild names making our list today, which is always fun to see. What's going to make the list tomorrow? Well, you got to tune in to find out. So we'll see you then, and stay safe out there.
If you're listening to this show, chances are you're pretty serious about options trading. So let me put something on your radar. Public. It's the most cost-effective way to trade options. That's because Public is the only platform that gives you rebates on your options trades. They also have some of the industry's lowest index options fees. Whether you're placing single leg or complex multi-leg trades, every dollar counts. Check out public.com/optionsbrief and discover the most cost-effective way to trade options. Paid for by Public Investing. Full disclosures in podcast description.
You're listening to the Options Insider Radio Network, the home of the Options Podcast. For more quality options programs, visit theoptionsinsider.com or search for Options Insider Radio Network in your podcast provider of choice. Listeners can also access all of our programming through our mobile app available in the iTunes and Google Play stores. Select programs are also available via live stream at mixlr.com/options-insider. That's mixlr.com/options-insider. Don't forget to follow along with your favorite programs and submit your own questions for the hosts at twitter.com/options, stocktwits.com/options, facebook.com/theoptionsinsider, or via questions at theoptionsinsider.com.